HBAR Hedera hash graph has been outperforming the market as of the past few days by about 20%. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to go over the chart and do a little bit of analysis. Welcome back to the Block Hash Podcast channel. Make sure to check out our sponsor, BENFT. They are revolutionizing education using DeFi methods and artificial intelligence. They are fantastic, and make sure to check out BNFT.solutions. All links in the description below. Also, check out our Patreon, where you can get this video before it goes out on YouTube for the price of 2 cups of coffee a month. If you're watching this on Patreon, congrats. If you're watching this on YouTube, go check out the Patreon. All right, so HBAR clearly over the last 2 days has gone up a magnificent. We're going to maneuver this a little bit. It has jumped 33%. 33%. All right, I'll explain why I have certain things here set up accordingly. Oh, won't let me move it. Why not? Tell me why. Alerts maintenance. We're doing some brief. Come on, TradingView. All right. So HBAR has moved about 33% in the course of about 2 days. A lot of this potentially coming from partnership with Kia and Hyundai. But also it's been building up ever since it bottomed out around the 15th of June. It started to form a funnel in which it moved up. We tracked this funnel and it did something positive. I was worried that back here at the beginning of August that we were likely going to see, I will draw this for you, my handy dandy brush, that we're likely going to see a retest back down at least to the mid 4s before coming up again. But we got the opposite. We got it to turn up. It tapped again and then came down. This time it held pretty close to the moving average on the Bollinger Band and popped up. So what does this mean? Are we in a breakout stage for HBAR? Are we going to go higher? Potentially. So, the biggest thing that we need to look at is this resistance area around the mid to high 7-cent range, around 7.5, around 7.7, where there's historically quite a bit of resistance, obviously back to here in February, even as early as January, clearly here in April, which is something I'm tracking, and back down. So in April, we popped up late March and early April with HBAR through the Bollinger Band, thought maybe we'd continue on upward after having this dramatic drop from February 19th all the way to March 11th. We popped up shortly and then it rejected just after getting past the Bollinger Band and came straight down for the course of April, May, June, 2.5 months. Okay. And then we got from mid-June to July, August for 2 months, a move back in the positive direction. And instead of breaking down again, which this structure would have shown, that could have been the likely case, decided to pop up. So since we popped up, we broke out of this funnel and we're showing a little bit more of an uptrend. There's a good chance that HBAR could potentially run higher. All right, we're looking at something very different than what we saw in January and that we haven't seen all year. This is on the Coinbase chart, so we're not going to see it very clearly, so I apologize. Maybe we'll move to the Binance chart for HBAR just to give a bit more price history. All right, we'll delete this. Okay, we're going to back out of the Bollinger Band on the daily. I'm going to show you the moving averages for the 20, 50, 100, and 200, where we have been writing this for quite a while, especially below the 200. Now clearly breaking out of that, and it took quite an effort back in January to even break out of the 200, but this is a relatively good sign. So on the long-term scale, we've held just below these moving averages, and then we started to pop through them one by one, and getting through the 200 was a big milestone for HBAR. If we're going to look at overall trends, this still has a way to go. This could fail. This is one possibility. And we peak out somewhere around here and then, we nosedive back down. Worst case scenario, okay? It is in play. We have to consider that. Best case scenario is that we continue up, we probably will correct around this level, and maybe we can find a way upwards as we get into the fall, which is what I'm expecting to happen. It usually is what plays out. Now, whoops, get rid of that. Historically on the price chart, HBAR, like most altcoins, has moved and on that 3-year period. HBAR, obviously shorter time frame because it hasn't been out as long as other things like XRP and Stellar Lumens and Cardano. But the trend is relatively the same. If you look at August of 2020, we had that pop in HBAR, okay? After having a significant pop early in the year, then it pulled back dramatically, and it was very ugly, unfortunately, from mid-August, where we're at right now, all the way into October, in December, and then we had a massive rally, okay, that just popped off, and HBAR went to ungodly numbers, above 30 cents, above 40 cents. We're looking at a very similar scenario where we could have this capitulation, this retreat into consolidation over the fall. However, the only difference are the spikes. All right, we had a big dip here, a strong pullback, versus here where we just had strong growth over the course of the spring of 2020. This is the strong pullback that we got. All right, that strong pullback came around September and early October. If we price this in, maybe this is happening a little bit early, we could be in this scenario where we're about to jump. So we could actually be where we were in January 2021, and the price could be looking to rocket to the upside, where we could see something like this, and maybe we start breaking towards that 10-cent mark, which we hit in February but weren't able to clear. The fact we were able to do that in January amid all the regulatory uncertainty and the crap in the market, this makes me more positive that we can break through it if we can continue at least marching up or get a strong God candle in that direction. So the moving averages will be very important for that, keeping it in mind to see if we can get to that point. We are still at the very bottom of the HBAR market and chart, and there's a lot of room to go. Next, resistance areas, we're looking at some peaks and some valleys around 15 to 16 cents. I'd say 16 cents. So if we blow through 10, it's all open air pretty much until we get to 12, until we get to 16. And, we'll probably stop out there, at least temporarily. But if we break through it, you're looking at much higher levels, potentially around 26 cents. So yeah, it's hard with HBAR because it doesn't have that significantly long price history to analyze. But given the strong immediate growth that it's showing, there's a chance that we could repeat and try to go double top, hit that 10-cent range, and maybe we can go higher. If we can do that, that's an amazing best case scenario for the time being. But my eyeballs, just like everything else, is on late fall. Everything from early November all the way to the very end of the year, which most altcoins, and I'm telling you, I've been saying this for a long time, have a 3-year chart pattern. They're not tied to Bitcoin. All right, the altcoin market moves very differently than Bitcoin does. And so we have to take that into consideration when we're looking at these things. Let's narrow down on the 30-minute chart. I just want to show you what the price action has looked like in the medium term. So on Sunday, we saw first moves opening the market. I'm curious if this is happening maybe in Asia and Europe before happening in the U.S., since the U.S. was pretty much in bed at this time. But HBAR had a nice rally to the upside, initially giving us, this one. We want price range. Initially giving us 14%. We could say maxing at 18%. And then yesterday in the evening, pushing us up above 16%, where we got to as high as 7.6. So the question that I'm looking for is in the short term, is this a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to have a fifth wave and then it's going to stop? Is this going to pull back from here? We're going to come back down to the 6.5 range. The good news is there's a lot of green activity, a lot of buying activity. Bad news is it has peaked out quite a bit, and the RSI seems to be trending it back down. But when the RSI gets to the 50 range, it usually shows that the market has mellowed out a little bit. It's now back to that range. The moving average for the RSI, I'd like to see come back to the 50, this cool off a little bit, hang around 7 cents if possible, and then maybe we'll clear to the upside for another move. But, you know, short-term stuff doesn't play as accurately as, you know, you can analyze on most chart analysis. The best thing here is the volume. You look at the size of the candles. You look at, you know, the amount of HBAR being bought. It's tremendous right now. There's a lot of green. So HBAR is held really well around this 5.5 cent level and is accumulated around 5 cents. And has hopefully a new floor around 6.3, but it's chopped to the upside in a good way. So who knows? This might not come back down at all. Again, very early. I want to jump out to the 1 week, just expand this even further to show you what we're looking at. On the weekly, you know, last time we moved in January into February, had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll give it 7 straight green weeks of bullishness. Whereas here, if we want to count July 10th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 already, maybe 7 potentially. So to get beyond 6 or 7 green candles here would be the biggest move we've had all year. And that would likely take us much higher. But can we get beyond these 6 or 7 candles that we're likely to have, because this will close in about 6 or 7 hours, and we'll be able to further analyze that. Let's check out a couple other things. This is the RSI, but let's back out and go to the MACD, another indicator I like very much. MACD is great for these momentum swings on the weekly. You know, ever since May, you know, we've been below that moving average on the MACD, and then boom, we turned again here in July, late July, 24th, showing that the trend is continuing up. So this could be a very good sign. And if we can get above these candles, we can enter bullish sentiment for HBAR. Given how much HBAR is beat down, there's some really good opportunities in here for it to appreciate in price and to make some money. So I'll be watching that very astutely. Let's look at it on the 1 day, where the RSI is a little bit choppier, but is holding above. Okay. So I'm a little bit more bullish and optimistic on HBAR at the moment, given the fact that it has bottomed. It has seen a lot of red, especially after the fall off in 2022. It was pretty dramatic. You know, just April of last year, March and April of last year, HBAR was at 25, 26 cents. And we're trying to correct the FTX disaster. So after August of last year, we continued down. FTX in November, cleared FTX, cleared some of that drop since August of last year. We're in August now, and the question is, can we clear above previous August highs, get above previous highs on the year for February, and see if we can clear this liquidity gap, which is massive. If we can do so, we'll be clearly in a bull market for HBAR. That's my take on it right now. I'm going to be watching it closely, as well as the news. I want to see what's being developed, why people are buying in. I think also the tokenomics inflation rate for HBAR might be priced in at this point, since a lot of tokens got dumped into the market in the spring. Maybe that's out in the clear as of June, and maybe we're looking pretty good. So summer is not too bad. Summer's actually played out fairly decent. And I think the fall is going to be the most exciting time as we approach the end of the year. If I can make a prediction, I do think HBAR will finish the year above 10 cents, but how much higher is a great question. So let's aim for 10 cents. And let's see what HBAR does in the meantime. I do think September will be a decent month, and I think November, December will be the best months, particularly November. All right. That's it for today, guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you have, thank you so much. Comment your thoughts, like the video, share wherever you're watching this video with people that might also enjoy Hedera Ash Graph and HBAR and this chart analysis, and we'll continue to watch it very closely. Talk to you guys soon. Cheers.